Shibit.
Hello, how are you doing this weekend? It's great to have you back on this new Draw and Talk. I'm very excited for this episode. In particular, it is Naruto-centric because I just can't be stopped. So basically what I draw in this episode is my Jaden Unshaken characters as if they were in Naruto. And it was lots of fun. I first drew their genin forms, which, if you don't know, is basically level 1 ninja. After they graduate from the academy, that's what they are. And then later in this video, I drew their tuning forms, which is basically like 1 level up from genin. It was lots of fun. My favorite design probably is Jaden's tuning form. She's the one with the dark blue hair. She's not colored by now, but she was the first one I drew on the genin side, so you'll see eventually. In drawing her in the Naruto style, I'm like, looks a lot like Hinata. And I swear that was not on purpose. Like, if you know me, you know Hinata is my favorite anime character ever. So it wasn't on purpose that Jaden has turned out to kind of look like Hinata's tuning form, or just basically Hinata when she's not having her short hair. It wasn't my intention. It's just that over the years of developing her, I've just, made strides in her design that kind of just ended up in a few similarities, and that is her hair shape and the color. So, coincidence? Maybe. I can't say entirely that I was not influenced, because I definitely, just the whole Hime cut in general, I really like that hairstyle. I'm not sure if it's because of Hinata herself, but you may have noticed many of my characters sport that hairstyle, like Jaden, obviously, and then there's also Pookie and Kiki from Magical Girl School, and I'm always tempted to make more characters with that hairstyle, and I know I shouldn't because I know I overuse it, but I also just love it. Oh, maybe also I did have that hairstyle for a long time in high school, so I don't know. I just know it's a very cute hairstyle. I love it. I say it's Hime cut, but it doesn't have those little short bits on the side. And if you're familiar with that hairstyle, then you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But none of my characters have that, but I just call it Hime style anyway. It's close enough. So anyway, enough talking about Jaden's hair being similar to Hinata's. I also wanted to discuss on how the trio's genin form looks. Jaden, on the far left, when she was younger, in my canon story, she was poor and her mom was like never around, but for like sort of good reason. She was always at work or at school, so not happy life, but it was kind of necessary to live. So anyway, my idea for her genin form was like, similar growings. I also realized, because in my original story for Jaden Unshaken, Jaden's mom becomes a senator, and I was like, okay, so if I made this Naruto AU, and when I say AU, for this alternate universe, it would be like the general Naruto rules and world, but none of the actual characters from the actual series with my characters, It would just be like the general rules on how things work, like chakra and jutsus and Kekai Genkai and all that stuff. Very sorry if you're not familiar with Naruto and I'm just spitting out these words. They're not foreign to me because I'm pretty obsessed with Naruto at this point, but I realize after saying them, I'm like, wait a second, some of these words might not make any sense. Especially if you know nothing about Naruto. I feel like some people who know like a little bit about Naruto know about some of this stuff just from general knowledge, but I understand if some of this isn't making any sense. Anyway, so the point is, Naruto world, Naruto rules, but no Naruto, basically. So, I was going to say how Jaden's mom was senator in their actual world. I was like, does that translate to Hokage? Like, technically president would translate to Hokage. So I figured through Jaden's early life, her dad probably died in a nine-tailed beast attack, probably. That's sort of how he died in the original story as well, where he died and was part of the military and stuff, so that's probably how he would die in the Naruto-verse as well. And I was feeling like Jaden's mom would be part of the Anbu, and that's basically the special operatives ninjas who do a lot of stealth and not so nice work for the village, and are very, very, very good at what they do. So I was like, So, and I would figure that Anbu would always be called away to do stuff a lot, and if Jaden's mom was Anbu, that would kind of explain her absence in Jaden's early life, so that makes sense to me. So the way I tried to translate that in her Genin form was that she didn't have much of a sense on person and how to exist. So she's sort of not a total mess, obviously. She was sort of looked after by her cousin's family. Still, like, she wasn't completely comfortable in her own skin, I suppose. Like, her hair isn't really styled, her dress is sort of plain. So that's how I wanted to translate that into the Naruto world. And as for Amy, Amy's the one in the middle of the trio. She's in the middle, she's the one that looks shy with the giant pigtails. Some of you may know, Amy's original design, when I designed her at age 12, she had giant pigtails, so I sort of wanted to incorporate that into her design. In the current story of the actual Jaden Unshaken story, she does have very long hair before the story starts, and then when she's introduced, she has short hair, and I figure that's like from her Genin form having her long pigtails to her Chunin form having her hair cut very short. Like that, you know, it's a good correlation between the Naruto AU and the original story. And as for M's Genin form is so totally plain. Sort of purposely. M also didn't have a great upbringing finance-wise, so they sort of wear not too much of interesting things. That's pretty much all I could say for M's Genin form. And for the Chunin form, it is of my opinion that M is pretty cool, so I wanted to give them a coat based on their current coat in the actual story. Obviously it doesn't look the same and is much longer and more anime-like, but I wanted to use that in M's older form because M would have figured themselves out by then. I sort of also wanted to mention their abilities. I definitely wanted, because as I said, Naruto world, Naruto rules, no Naruto, I would have wanted Amy to probably most definitely be a Jinchuriki, and that basically means she has a tailed beast sealed within her, which is what Naruto had. And I figured a mouse is what I usually associate her with, and for some reason I kept thinking 3, so I'm like, oh, she has a 3-tailed mouse whose like main ability is fiery and stuff. And I wanted this because in particular Amy has always been the more dangerous character with her abilities. I also wanted Amy to be able to use Fireball Jutsu, just because it would be fun to draw. And just, I mean, it's fire, you know? Amy's fire. As for Jaden, she would like have a lot of water style and sound style, and Genjutsu definitely because of her power in the current story. Her actual current story is like persuasion, so I was like, Genjutsu is, you know, basically that. But I also would want her to use some sort of sound technique, because that's what she does. And water technique as well, because when I first designed her, water was a big thing. Earth-style jutsus for M, and great chakra control, just in general, because I wanted their strength to come through, and Sakura in actual Naruto, she's really strong because of her chakra control, so I'm like, that could be M. And that would sort of work well for M's actual story. How M's power is sort of less strength and more practice makes perfect sort of power, so having a good chakra control would probably translate well for that sort of ability. Anyway, so I talked a really long time about Naruto, and well, my characters as Naruto-esque characters, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time with this drawn talk. I hope you weren't completely bored by me just talking about this stuff. Very sorry if you were. Let me know what you think, I guess. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.